welcome to Number Crunch. Today we are tackling KCSE 2018 Paper 1 Section 1 starting from question 1, and it's without using a calculator, evaluate 2 and a third minus 1 and a fifth of 2 divided by 1/4 minus negative a half cubed. So we are going to use the order of operations, and that is both mass. And so the first step in the order of operation is the brackets. We had negative a half cubed, so we open that bracket. We have 2 and a third minus 1/5 of 2 divided by a quarter minus negative a half times negative a half times negative a half. Simplifying that, we shall have negative 1/8. And so we shall be left with 2 and a third minus 1/5 of 2 divided by 1/4 minus negative 1/8. Then the next step in the order of operation is off. And so we have 1/5 of 2. We simplify that first by writing the 1/5 as an improper fraction. Gives us 2 and a third minus 6/5 of 2 over 1/4 minus negative 1/8. And then off can be written as a multiplication. So we have 2 and a third minus 6/5 times 2 divided by 1/4 minus negative 1/8. Then we have division. We can't evaluate the division because we still have other operations that need to be performed first. So we move to the next one is multiplication. We have 6/5 times 2. So we multiply that, it gives us 12/5. So we shall be left with 2 and a third minus 12/5 divided by 1/4 minus negative 1/8. Then the next is addition. We currently don't have an addition operation, so we move to subtraction. And for subtraction, we have 2 and a third minus 12/5 and 1/4 minus negative 1/8. So we are going to rewrite the 2 and a third as an improper fraction as well. It will be 7/3 minus 12/5 over 1/4 minus negative 1/8. The next step is to find the LCM of the numerator and the denominator. The LCM of the numerator will be 15 because it's the least common multiple between 3 and 5. And the LCM of the denominator is 8. So we shall have 15 as the LCM of the numerator. So 3 goes to 15 5 times 7, we have 35, minus 5 goes to 15 3 times 12, we have 36. And then for the denominator, we have the LCM of the denominator as 8. 4 goes to 8 2 times 1, we are left with 2, minus negative 8 goes to 8 once, times 1 remains 1. And so we simplify this, we have 35 minus 36 is negative 1. So it will be negative 1/15 divided by 2 minus 1. Since there are two negative operations that are together, that implies it's an addition. So it's similar to 2 plus 1, which is equals to 3. So we shall have negative 1/15 divided by 3/8. Then when we are performing a division by a fraction, you can evaluate it by multiplying it using the reciprocal. So we shall have negative 1/15 times 8/3, the reciprocal of 3/8. And so since there is nothing that cancels out, so we just perform the multiplication of the numerators and the denominators. We are left with negative 8/45. So that is how you perform such an operation without using a calculator. Question 2. Given that 6 raised to power 2n minus 3 is equals to 7,776, find the value of n. So we've been told that 6 raised to power 2n minus 3 is equals to 7,776. So the first step is to factorize 7,776, and once you factorize, you obtain that it is equals to 2 raised to power 5 times 3 raised to power 5. If you need help in factorization, leave a comment below. And so we have 7,776 is equals to 2 raised to power 5 times 3 raised to power 5. Notice that the powers are equal, and so the 2 raised to power 5 times 3 raised to power 6 can be rewritten as 2 times 3 raised to power 5, and 2 times 3 is 6. Therefore, 7,776 is the same as 6 raised to power 5. So that means our 6 raised to power 2n minus 3 is equals to 6 raised to power 5. Then notice that the bases are the same, and so our powers are also equal, and therefore we can equate 2n minus 3 to 5. Then we add 3 to both sides. We shall have 2n minus 3 plus 3 is equals to 5 plus 3. Then 2n is equals to 8. We divide both sides by 2, and we are left with n is equals to 4. Therefore, the value of n is equals to 4. Question 3. The base of a right pyramid is a rectangle of length 80 centimeters and width 60 centimeters. Each slant edge of the pyramid is 130 centimeters. Calculate the volume of the pyramid. We are supposed to find the volume of the pyramid. We've been given the dimensions of the base and the slant edge. And we know that the volume of a pyramid, the formula is a third length times width times height. But in this case, we don't have the height. So the first step, we need to compute the height. So illustrating the pyramid, we have the 80, the 60, and 130 as the slant edge. So the first step, we are going to find the slant height using the Pythagoras theorem. And we know that a squared plus b squared is equals to c squared. In our case, our a will be half the length, which is 40, and our c will be 130, the slant height. So we are looking for the b. And to find the b, to have b as the subject of the formula, it will be the root of c squared minus a squared. And so substituting the figures, we shall have the slant height is equals to 130 squared minus 40 squared. So we are looking for the slant height on the side of the length, and the slant height is 123.69 centimeters. We have the slant height, but that is not the height of the pyramid. The height of the pyramid is from the tip of the pyramid to the base, to the rectangular base. So to obtain the height, we are still going to use the Pythagoras theorem with our slant height as the mu hypotenuse, or the c. So our c will now be the slant height, and our a will be half the width, which is 30. And so substituting the figures in the same way, we have our height h is equals to the slant height squared, which is 123.69 squared, minus 30 squared, half the width, in order to obtain the height of the pyramid. And we obtain that the height is 120 centimeters. And so we compute the volume, which is a third times the length, which is 80, the width is 60, and now our height is 120 centimeters. So substitute, we have a third times 80 times 60 times 120, and it results to 192,000 cubic centimeters. So that is the volume of the pyramid. Question 4. In the figure below, ABCDEF is a uniform cross-section of a solid. Given that FG is one of the visible edges of the solid, complete the sketch showing the hidden edges with broken lines. So we have the section of the solid and we are supposed to complete it. We'll start by completing the visible edges, which are from point E, point D and point C. Then we join those edges towards G. Then we sketch the hidden edges using broken lines. And there we have the solid. Question 5. The length of 3 wires were 30 meters, 36 meters, and 84 meters. Pieces of wire of equal length were cut from the 3 wires. Calculate the least number of pieces obtained. So we need to obtain the least number of pieces. And remember that each piece was of equal length. And so we need to find the length per piece that was cut. And to do that, we find the greatest length, the greatest possible length per piece. And so the first step is to factorize 30, 36, and 84. So the factors of 30 are 2 by 3 by 5. Of 36 are 2 by 2 by 3 by 3. And the factors of 84 are 2 by 2 by 3 by 7. And so the greatest figure between the greatest common divisor between 30, 36, and 84 is 2 by 3. And so the GCD is 6. So what that means is that each length of the wire that was cut was 6 meters long. And so to find the number of pieces per wire, from the 30 meter wire, we have 30 divided by 6, which we have obtained as the length per piece, giving us 5 pieces. Then we have from the 36 meter wire, 36 divided by 6, which is equals to 6 pieces. And from the 84 meters wire, we have 84 divided by 6, which is 12 pieces. And so the least number of pieces obtained from the 3 wires are 5 plus 6 plus 12, which is equals to 23 pieces. So that was the least number of pieces that could be obtained from the 3 wires if each wire was of equal length. Question 6. A 2-digit number is such that the sum of its digits is 13. When the digits are interchanged, the original number is increased by 9. Find the original number. We need to find the original number. So we're going to let the original number be n1 and the interchanged number be n2. And for n1, we are going to let the unit digit be x. Then we have been told that the sum of the 2 digits is 13, and therefore the 10th digit is 13 minus x. So we know the value of the unit digit as x and the 10th digit as 13 minus x. And so our n1 is equals to 10 because of the 10th digit times the 10th digit, which is 13 minus x, plus x. We open the brackets, it's equals to 130 minus 10x plus 9. We simplify, we have 130 minus 9x. So that is our n1. Then for n2, we interchange. So the unit digit will be 13 minus x and the 10th digit will be x. Then we compute n2 as well. It will be 10 times the 10th digit, which is x, plus 13 minus x, the unit digit. Open the brackets, we have 10x plus 13 minus x, which is equals to 9x plus 13. So our n1 is equals to 130 minus 9x, and our n2 is equals to 9x plus 13. Then we've been told that after the interchange, the original number increased by 9. So n1 plus 9 is equals to n2. We substitute the figures, we have 130 minus 9x plus 9 is equals to 9x plus 13. We simplify, we have 139 minus 9x is equals to 9x plus 13. We shall add 9x on both sides in order to have the unknown on one side. we have 139 minus 9x plus 9x is equals to 9x plus 9x plus 13. And so 139 is equals to 18x plus 13. We subtract both sides by 13. We are left with 126 is equals to 18x, or rather 18x is equals to 126. So we divide both sides by 18 to obtain the value of x, and the value of x is equals to 7. We have been asked to find the original number, which is n1, and our n1 is 130 minus 9x, and so we substitute. We have 130 is equals to n1 is equals to 130 minus 9 into 7, which is equals to 130 minus 63, and hence our n1 is equals to 67. If we had been asked to find the value of the interchanged number, or n2, we would have done the same thing, 9x plus 13, so you substitute the value of x by 7. Question 7 part A. Using a ruler and a pair of compasses only, construct a quadrilateral PQRS in which PQ is equals to 5 cm, PS is equals to 3 cm, QR is equals to 4 cm, and angle PQR is equals to 135 degrees, and SPQ is a right angle. We have been told that PQ is equals to 5 centimeters, so we can just have a model first. This is our PQ, is 5 centimeters, QR is 4 centimeters, PS is 3 centimeters, angle PQR is 135 degrees, and angle SPQ is 90 degrees. So this is what we are supposed to construct. So we start by drawing the line PQ. Measure 5 centimeters. Then you mark on the line. So here is our P and this is our Q. At point P we have a right angle, so you construct a right angle. Remember, you first have the radius of your compass at a small width, then you expand it, and you join the 2 points, point P and where the 2 arcs bisect. Then PS is 3 centimeters. That is our point S. Then PQR is 135 degrees. One thing you need to note with 135 degrees, if you take one, since 135 is greater than 90, we can use 180 degrees minus 135 to construct the lesser angle. So 180 degrees minus 135 degrees is 45 degrees. So at point Q, towards the extension on this side, we shall construct 45 degrees. And to construct 45 degrees, you first construct a right angle, then you bisect. So just as we did at point P, start by constructing a right angle. But unlike this line, we use a dotted line since that is not our line of interest. Then change the width. You mark there and you also mark here. And expand your compass. Mark and do mark as well. That is how you construct angle 135 degrees. Then you measure 4 centimeters. That will be our point R. Then you join points S and R to form a quadrilateral. There you have your quadrilateral PQRS. Then we can measure the length of SR. Using a ruler. SR is 7.8 centimeters. So this is 7.8 centimeters. This was 3 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 4 centimeters. This is a right angle and this is angle 135 degrees. Question 7 part B. The quadrilateral PQRS represents a plot of land drawn to a scale 1:4,000. Determine the actual length of RS in meters. We are supposed to determine the length of RS in meters. And the scale is 1:4,000. What that means is 1 centimeter represents 4,000 centimeters. And since we've been asked to find the length of RS in meters, we can change the scale by dividing the 4,000 by 100, since 1 centimeter is equals to 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeters. Therefore 1 centimeter represents 40 meters. And RS, remember we measured in part A, was 7.8 centimeters. Therefore the actual length of RS will be 7.8 times 40, which is equals to 312 meters. Question 8. Given that OA is equals to 2, 3 and OB is equals to negative 4, 5, find the midpoint M of AB. We've been given OA and OB and we need to find midpoint M of AB. So the first step is to find AB, and AB is equals to OB minus OA. How we have arrived at that is AB is the same as AO plus OB. But since we only have OA, therefore AO is equals to negative OA. So we write that it will be the same as AB is equals to negative OA plus OB. Then we substitute the figures. We have negative 4, 5 minus 2, 3. Then negative 4 minus 2 is 6 and 5 minus 3 is 2. Therefore AB is equals to negative 6, 2. Then M is the midpoint of AB. So M is a half of AB. We substitute, we have a half times -6, 2. This is the same as a half times -6 and a half times 2. Therefore, M is -3, 2. Question 9. Two towns R and S are 245 kilometers apart. A bus traveling at an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour left town R for town S at 8 a.m. A truck left town S for town R at 9 a.m. and met with the bus at 11 a.m. Determine the average speed of the truck. We need to find the average speed of the truck. So in summary, we've been told that the bus speed was 60 kilometers per hour and it left R at 8 a.m. and the truck left S at 9 a.m. and it met the bus at 11 a.m. So we need to find the distance that the truck had traveled, and to obtain that distance we need to know the distance that the bus had traveled up to the meeting point. And so we know that the time taken by the bus until the meeting time was 11 minus 8, since they met at 11, which is 3 hours. And so the distance traveled by the bus, remember the distance formula is speed times time. So we substitute, we have 60 times 3, which is equals to 180 kilometers. That means that the bus had traveled 180 kilometers from R. And therefore, since we have the distance from R to the meeting point and we have the total distance, so the distance from town S will be total distance minus distance up to the meeting point, which is 245 minus 180, which is equals to 65 kilometers. So that means the truck had traveled for 65 kilometers. Then we find the time taken, which is 11 a.m. minus 9 a.m. and the truck took 2 hours to get to the meeting point, and therefore the speed will be distance over time. We substitute, the distance is 65 and the time is 2 hours. So the truck was traveling at an average speed of 32 kilometers per hour. In the figure WXYZ below, WX is equals to 10 centimeters, XY is equals to 5 centimeters, and angle WXY is equals to 150 degrees. Calculate the area of the figure. So we've been given the figure and its dimensions. We have WX as 10 centimeters, XY as 5 centimeters, and angle WXY as 150 degrees. So to find the area of the figure, the formula is base times height. We have the base, which is WX as 10 centimeters, but we do not have the height. So we need to find the height, which we will call H in our case. So since it forms a right angle at point X, so we are going to use the trigonometric identities to compute the area, to compute the height, and they are abbreviated as SOHCAHTOA. So in relation to the angle formed at X, since we have angle WXY, we are going to use the cosine because our theta will be YX and the line formed by H. So cos theta is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. Theta will be 150 degrees minus 90, since the height forms a right angle at point X. So our theta is 60 degrees. So we substitute, we have cos 60 degrees is equals to H over 5, 5 being the hypotenuse, in our case it's XY. So we cross multiply, we have H is equals to 5 cos 60 degrees. Then remember our formula of the area is base times height. So substituting it, our area will be our base, which is 10, being WX, times the height, which we have computed and obtained 5 cos 60 degrees. So using your calculator, you find that the area is 25 squared centimeters. Question 11. Without using mathematical tables or a calculator, evaluate sin 30 degrees minus sin 60 degrees divided by tan 60 degrees. So that is the expression we are supposed to evaluate. And since we can't use a calculator or a mathematical table, our options are to either use a unit circle or a unit table. In our case, we are going to use a unit table. I have already pre-populated mine, but it's very easy to work it out. What you have to remember is sin 0 degrees is 0 and sin 90 degrees is 1. Then for 30 degrees, 45 degrees and 60 degrees, their signs are root 1, root 2 and root 3 divided by 2. Then for the cos, it's the opposite of the sign. So you kind of rewrite what you had in the sign, whereby where we had 0, it now becomes 1, and where we had 1, it becomes 0. Then for 30 degrees, 45 degrees and 60 degrees, you also interchange. So it's root 3, root 2, root 1 divided by 2. But remember, root 1 is 1. That's why I haven't indicated it as root 1. Then for the tan is sine divided by cos. So you can just do that. 0 divided by 1 is 0. A half divided by root 3 over 2 is 1 over root 3. Root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2 is 1. Root 3 over 2 divided by 1 over 2 is root 3. And 1 divided by 0 is infinity or undefined. Then you pick the values from the table. So sin 30 degrees is a half. Sin 60 degrees is root 3 over 2. And tan 60 degrees is root 3. So there we have our values. The numerator, we have a half minus root 3 over 2. We can simplify that and remain with 1 minus root 3 over 2 divided by root 3. Then in the denominator, we can eliminate the root by multiplying it with its conjugate. So we have 1 minus root 3 over 2 over root 3 times root 3 over 3 over root 3, sorry. Simplify that, we have root 3 times the whole expression in the numerator divided by root 3 times root 3 is 3. So opening the bracket, we have root 3 minus 3, since root 3 times root 3 is 3, over 2 divided by 3, which was the denominator. Then since we have a division, we can multiply it by its reciprocal. So we have root 3 minus 3 over 2 times 1 over 3, and this becomes root 3 minus 3 over 6. So that is how you evaluate trigonometric equations without using a calculator or mathematical tables. Question 12. Use matrix method to solve 5x plus 3y is equals to 35 and 3x minus 4y is equals to negative 8. The first step is to form the matrices. We have 5, 3, 3, negative 4, which is the matrix of the coefficients of x and y. We have x, y, and 35, negative 8. So we are going to assume that our first matrix is A, the xy is B, and the third matrix is C. So to find the values of x and y, we need to multiply both sides of the equations by the reciprocal of A. And the first step to finding the reciprocal is to find the determinant of A. And assuming our matrix A is A, B, C, D, finding the determinant will be A times D minus C times B. So our determinant of A will be A, which is 5, times D, which is negative 4, minus our B, which is 3, times C, which is 3. That becomes negative 20 minus 29, which is equals to 29. So to find the reciprocal is 1 over the determinant. then we interchange A and D, then we introduce negatives to B and C. So the reciprocal of A will be 1 over the determinant of A times A becomes D, which is negative 4, negative 3, and 5. So we have 1 over negative 29 times negative 4, negative 3, 5. So that becomes negative 4 over negative 29 is 4 over 29, 3 over 29, 3 over 29, and negative 5 over 29. And so our B will be the reciprocal of A times C, or A times its reciprocal, which forms an identity matrix, times B, which is equals to the reciprocal of A times C. So we substitute the figures. We have xy is equals to 4 over 29, 3 over 29, 3 over 29, and negative 5 over 29 times 35, negative 8. So opening the brackets, we shall have 4 over 29 times 35 plus 3 over 29 times negative 8. We multiply the first row of the first matrix times the column of the second matrix. Then for the second row, we do the same, multiply the second row by the first column of the second matrix. But our second matrix happens to be a 2 by 1 matrix. Sorry, a 1 by 2 matrix. Evaluate this. We have 4 and 5. 4 for the first row and 5 for the second row. And so our x is 4 and our y is 5. That is how you use matrices to solve simultaneous equations. Question 13. Expand and simplify 2x plus 1 squared plus x minus 1 into x minus 2. The expression is 2x plus 1 squared plus x minus 1 into x minus 3. The first step, we shall expand 2x plus 1. We have 2x plus 1 into 2x plus 1, then plus x plus 1 into x minus 3. We shall use the FOIL method of expansion. So the first term, we have 2x times 2x, that is 4x squared, then plus 2x times 1, that is 2x, 2x times 1 is 2x, and 1 times 1 is 1. Then we have plus x times x is x squared, x times negative 3 is negative 3, x times negative 1 times x is negative 1 and negative x, and negative 3 times negative 3 is 3. Then we put the like terms together. We have 4x squared plus x squared, that gives us 5x squared, 2x squared plus 2x squared minus 3x squared minus x, that is 0, since it's similar to 4x minus 4x. Then we have 1 plus 3 is 4. Therefore, the answer is 5x squared plus 4. Question 14. Use mathematical tables to find the reciprocal of 0.0247. Hence, evaluate the cube root of 3.025 divided by 0.0247. The cube root of 3.025 divided by 0.0247. So looking at the mathematical tables, we are only provided with the reciprocals of numbers written in their standard form. And so we have to rewrite 0.0247 into its standard form, which is 2.47 times 10 raised to power negative 2. Then this can also be written as the cube root of 3.025 times 2.47 times 10 raised to power negative 2 raised to power negative 1. We open the bracket, we have the cube root of 3.025 times 2.47 raised to power negative 1 times 10 raised to 2. So we read off the value of the reciprocal of 2.47. It's 0.4049. So we multiply times 10 raised to power 2, we have 40.49. Hence, the reciprocal of 0.0247 is 40.49. Then you evaluate the cube root of 3.025. It's 1.4462 to 4 decimal places times 40.49, and this gives you 58.5584 into 4 decimal places. Question 15. A Kenyan businessman intended to buy goods worth 20,000 US dollars from South Africa. Calculate the value of the goods to the nearest South African rand, given that 1 US dollar is equal to 101.9378 Kenya shillings and 1 South African rand is equal to 7.6326 Kenya shillings. So he intends to buy goods worth $20,000. So we have 1 US dollar is equal to 101.9378 Kenya shillings. We need to find the value of the $20,000. So we cross multiply. We have 20,000 times 101.9378 over 1, which is equals to 2,038,756 Kenya shillings. Then we convert this into South African rand, and 1 South African rand is equals to 7.6326 Kenya shillings. So we follow the same process, we cross multiply, and we have 267,111.60 South African rand, and we've been asked to give the answer to the nearest South African rand, so it's approximately 267,112 South African rand. Question 16. A photograph measuring 24 centimeters by 15 centimeters is enclosed in a frame. A uniform space of width x centimeters is left in between the edges of the photograph and the frame. If the area of the space is 270 square centimeters, find the value of x. We have a model of the photograph and the frame. So the measurements of the photograph are 15 centimeters by 24 centimeters, and there is a uniform space between the photograph and the frame of x centimeters. So the area of the photo is length times width, which is equals to 24 times 15, which is equals to 360 square centimeters. And we have been given the area of the space as 270 square centimeters. Therefore, the area of the frame will be the area of the photo plus the area of the space, which is equals to 360 plus 270 equals to 630 square centimeters. Then we find the dimensions of the frame. The length will be 24 centimeters plus twice x, because the space is uniform along all the edges of the photo. So the length is 24 plus 2x, and the width is 15 plus 2x as well. And therefore the area of the frame is equals to length times width. We substitute, we have 630 is equals to 24 plus x times 15 plus 2x. We open the brackets, we have 630 is equals to 360 plus 48x plus 30x plus 4x squared. We can write this as 4x squared plus 78x, putting the like terms together, plus 360 is equals to 630. Then we subtract 630 from both sides of the equation, to form a quadratic equation, we have 4x squared plus 78x plus 360 minus 630 is equals to 630 minus 630. So 4x squared plus 78x minus 270 is equal to 0. We are going to use the factorization method to solve the equation. We look for factors whose sum is 78 and the product is 4 by negative 270, and we obtain 90 and negative 12. So we have 4x squared plus 90x minus 12x minus 270 is equals to 0. We factor out the common factors among the first two terms. We have 2x into 2x plus 45, and the common factor between negative 12x and negative 270 is negative 6. So negative 6 into 2x plus 45 is equals to 0. Therefore, 2x minus 6 into 2x plus 45 is equals to 0. This means that 2x minus 6 is equals to 0, or 2x plus 45 is equals to 0. In the first case, we shall add 6 on both sides of the equation. We have 2x is equals to 6. Then in the other case, we have 2x plus 45 is equals to 0. We subtract 45 on both sides to remain with 2x. 2x is equals to negative 45. Then we divide both equations by 2 to remain with x. So x is equals to 3, or x is equals to negative 22.5. But since we are dealing with length, length cannot be negative. Therefore, our x is equals to 3 centimeters.